Hey class, China has been developing in different aspects and her national power is keep on increasing, and that's the reason why there is probably one Chinese threat theory comes out explaining the possible risk. So who are the ones who claim for the Chinese threat theory? So for geographically, those countries that near China will be strongly affected by the rise of China, and U.S. for the superpower, they think that the rise of China is a risk to. And based on this Chinese threat theory, we have three different logic. Logic one is about the ideological and cultural factors. So still remember, China stick closely to communism when it starts to be the Republic of China. And according to Huntington, a person who claimed for the clash of civilization, claiming that for the culture which keep on influencing other places, probably united with the others that affect the Western culture. As a result, US has to think of the possible policies in the short run and long run in order to defend this kind of influence. To follow up this kind of logic, I think the problem is not only cultural but also political. So right now, people understand, like we understand that for Chinese information flow, there is a great firewall that try to block the unfavorable information to the Chinese power. I mean, the political power that rule herself. So this kind of censorship is actually one of the good example explaining that how the government rule that place. And actually, this way of ruling is actually proving a success, especially in Asia countries. So to contrast the Washington consensus, there's a term named Beijing consensus, also sometimes called the China model, is actually influencing a lot of different places, especially for Asia power. So probably you can understand the world like this. Like for the West, probably they follow the democratic model, and they see the success with a long period of time. But in the short run, around these decades, for Asia power, they try to develop. They have a really great success in economy, and some of them try to give the merit to the development to the way that they rule, like with a kind of assertive political power. It helps the country to develop the economy as fast as possible. So they're trying to leave the 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 development of the political power slow, try to push the economy flow, the development flow, and then they show the kind of Asian success. And this kind of great influence is actually spreading into different countries, like even South Korea, Singapore, this kind of successful modern cities. And then Laos, Cambodia, Burma, this kind of cities is actually learning from the China model instead of the Washington consensus. And that's why this kind of logic is not only something cultural but also political. So logic 2 is about the geopolitical and geo-economical factors. So whenever you use this word geo-economical, it means that we cannot deny that China has a lot of different resources, okay, in terms of the territory, population, the materials inside, like energy, all this kind of power is actually embedded in China. And these foster her strong nationalism, and it may probably make China even more aggressive in making decisions toward the United States. So logic 3 is rarely to be discussed. So how about what happened when China is collapsed? So follow a Soviet style when or if a sudden death syndrome appears and China tries to spin off control, to split into different places, it will be a chaos, and at the same time it will be a huge problem to the global economy, just like what happened in the financial tsunami in 2009. So this is rarely discussed because we're not going to the perspective of the different aspect of the strength of China. But if it is really going to be happened, this will really be a problem globally. So and at the same time, definitely Chinese has their own response to the Chinese state theory. So they claim that China's peaceful rise and they claim the following aims or measures in order to calm the people's threat upon a Chinese development. So they claim that to create strategy partnerships and with the second-tier power, or promoting good neighbor policies, and also seeking cooperation and avoid confrontation with U.S. So all these kind of strategy is the way to avoid the nerves of the others. So so this is a summarized picture of the Chinese flag theory and also the response of China. But at the same time, I would like you to think in detail for those claim. I mean the Chinese flag theory, is this really valid, or are there any exaggeration for sake of some political powers? So I would like to again like you to split the discussion of Chinese flag theory into different aspects that we learned in the about the Chinese development of the national power, like military power, economic power, uh, cultural power, and to discuss particularly each of the aspects to see if this is really a threat to the globe.